Alright boys, it's that time again where a new character has dropped, so obviously we gotta make an updated tier list. Now in the past, I have unfortunately been making them kind of long, right? I think my last one was 32 minutes. So in this one, check the timer and hopefully I will try to keep it short. I will try to just briefly explain why I think a character is in whichever tier, instead of going about like 5 minutes and what I think which weapon causes which one to be and why I think the cooldown doesn't match up with anything. I'll just say, right, decent DPS, this, boom, next one, right? That's how I'll do it this time, okay? So I'm sorry if someone's wanting the long explanations this time, but most people tend to like the shorter videos, so I'll try to keep it short, but still try to have as much information as I can in them. Now, of course, before we get into this is still purely opinion based, right? And I've used every character. I own every character across both my accounts, and I've used them at different what's it called, constellation levels. I've used them at different world levels, right? Most of which, except Zhongli and Jin Yan, I've only played at level 70, but the rest I've played at 80 or 90 even. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it, right? Already wasted a minute, so let's not waste any more time. Really quick though, the male traveler is going to be the Geo one. It's going to represent the Geo one, and female is going to represent the Animo one. Okay, anyway, let's get started. Geotraveler, solid B tier. Does good damage. I don't like the construct, but Zhongli kind of saved him because of how he interacts with his constructs. But he scales with attack every time you send him, so he's pretty good. He's also a 5-star if you didn't know, so his stats are actually kind of solid. He does good damage, really good for Spiral Abyss, B tier, okay? Gets outclassed by a lot of other characters though still. Now, Amber, used to play as the worst character, so like in trash tier, but her aim shot, weak hit, actually has some like interesting combos you can do with Elemental Mastery on other characters that allows them to hit really hard. And without constellations, I'll probably still put her in trash. If you have 4 constellations in her, I believe, she's actually like E tier. So as a compromise, I will put her in F tier. Okay, there we go. Now the next one, Barbara. If you have her max constellation, which I think a lot of people actually do, like the revive is really clutch in like Spiral Abyss and stuff. The healing is not the greatest because you have to build her HP, and that's just kind of weird. But anyway, she's still great nonetheless. She's really good for co-op because, you know, you really always need a healer in co-op because there's so many stupid people, and you also just tend to get hit by the most random stuff or stuff that you can't even influence or have no impact on. So obviously heal is always going to be important. Her elemental burst is really good for healing. Therefore, I'm going to be putting her in A tier. Beidou has become so much better within like the last few changes in the game, where like bosses are actually sort of difficult now, and with sword I mean not really, but they actually have like proper attacks now. So her shield and her like damage reduction stuff or her counter is actually really good now, which you know, good DPS, of course, good electro DPS as well, but like the counter stuff is so much more useful now than it was before that I'm actually going to bump her up to A tier. I believe I like around B tier last time as well. So actually an A tier character, really good. I like her a lot. Shouts to Darkson Gaming. Okay, next up, Bennett, really good support. Pretty much only used for like gimmicky stuff where you raise your character's attack to infinity and do 500k or a million even. But other than that, not much use, right? You can't have him as a solo healer because he doesn't do that. You can have him as a main DPS, which is what I used to do for like a long time, but he doesn't really fit that role. So unfortunately, a C tier. I'd like to put him in B tier, and it might change throughout the video, but for now, I'm gonna put him C tier. Alright, Chongyun, without constellations, is around C and D tier because he's just the main DPS. But with constellations, he's definitely A tier, okay? So as a compromise, we'll put him B tier, okay? Because of his blade stuff gets a lot more powerful and a lot more like consistent if you have his constellations. If you don't, then it doesn't. So therefore, B tier for best boy. Now Diluc, I mean, it's obvious. This is not going to change for a while. This guy is still insane. A lot of people have underrated him in the past few days, mainly because you know, he's not the cool kid anymore, right? We have Child, who is better than him, spoiler. We have Zhongli, who is really good but also really cool, like main DPS guy type of guy, right? So like Diluc isn't like that main guy anymore everyone's looking for, but he's still really good, right? And just because he's fallen off in popularity doesn't mean he's fallen off in the game. He's still really good. If you have constellations in him, this guy is insane. The first 2 constellations is enough to turn this guy into a god. All right, so next up, Official, still one of the greatest secondary supports. And I've been seeing on the Chinese server a lot more main DPS officials as well with Rust. So there's that. So yeah, Official's still great. Definitely an A tier character, might even be an S tier character, right? If you think she's S tier, that's totally fair. I will put her in A tier though. By the way, the tiers are not ordered. Should have mentioned that, but I think it's pretty obvious. Tiers are not ordered, so whoever's in the most left isn't automatically the best character. Okay, I'm just putting them in the tier. Okay. Now Jean is actually who I've been using a lot recently. I've been leveling up. I've been getting her artifacts and everything. And her healing is pretty good. It's just inconsistent. I don't like her ultimate. Her kit is really boring, but it works. She does good damage and she heals quite a lot too, but it's not consistent, like I said, unless you get her ultimate. So I actually have to put her in B tier as much as I don't want to, because I feel like her damage actually carries her up to A tier, but I'll have to put her B tier. I feel like she's in the same boat as these two, kind of, because these are really good DPS, but that's it. But they don't do anything else. And she's like in the middle of both. She heals pretty well, she does pretty good damage, but she doesn't excel at anything. Next up, Kaya, Bridge Boy. Just the same as Kaya. Even if you have Constellation, him, he doesn't do much. I use him on my Razer team because he gives me Superconduct, right? Like his skill is a low cooldown, so what I do is I just switch in, I apply ice, I switch back, I apply electro, I get Superconduct, the physical resistance is lowered, I do more damage. So, you know, that's the only thing you can use him for. I guess that would put him in E tier. Constellations, like I said, don't matter whatsoever on this guy. He reduces your sprint stamina for exploration, which is nice, but I don't really want to count exploration in this. But anyway, Kaching, still godlike DPS, so much damage, so much burst as well, but also so much consistent damage. The stiletto stuff, it's pretty nice movement. You know, you don't really use it that much for movement, you use it more for damage anyway, but you can use it for movement. It's pretty nice. Really good damage. She gets crit damage on Ascension, which is really good. Yeah, just fantastic character. Klee, the best DPS technically. It's just that she only does fire damage, so if you fight someone that's resistant to fire, it kind of sucks. But other than that, really, like, the highest DPS you can get right now out of any character. She's an absolute just glass cannon powerhouse. So yeah, like I said, this is not ordered, but I want to put her next to that, Luke. But yeah, Klee, really good DPS, super good DPS. It definitely deserves S tier. Lisa, fix her E so you can move around while you hold it, while you charge it. Okay, and then she will actually move up to like B tier because she actually has good damage. But because of her immobility and other electric options like Fischl, who are free, being a lot better at what she wants to do, she will be in D tier. Now, the Animo Traveler, probably put in C or B tier. I think she's probably B tier, actually. It's like a discount Venti with the Tornado. It's pretty good. The Rasengan, her elemental skill, I like to call it Rasengan. Elemental skill is pretty good. You know, especially because you get her Constellation for free, or his, whatever, right? You get Constellation for free, so you get the first one that actually sucks enemies in, which like makes a huge difference. The rest doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, it reduces their resistance and everything, which is really good, but it's not a game changer. But yeah, Animo, just as good as Geo. Geo is more DPS, this one's more support. Okay. Mona, also like Bennett, a character, she's not in C tier by the way, but also a character that's used mainly for doing the big damage, right, with her enhancement stuff. Really good for traveling too, but like I said, I won't count that. But I'll probably put it in A tier. It's close between B and A, but I'll probably put it in A tier. She does good damage herself too. She's fantastic for co-ops, fantastic for Spiral Abyss. She's still pretty good for bosses, but not someone you definitely go to for a boss. Like, she's not a go-to, but she gets the job done. But yeah, still fantastic character overall. Will probably just get better within time because of how her kit works. Like, it seems pretty it'll age well. That's yeah, that one. Ningguang, definitely A tier. She does so much damage, and with Geo carry, like with Zhongli being out now and Geo teams being a lot more like usable, definitely a great option on that team. So good for co-op against a lot of enemies because of her wall. Like I said, does such insane damage. I underestimated her for so long until a friend of mine, she has her built up and she showed me, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, she's cracked. She's cracked up. But yeah. Noelle, not so much. She's pretty much a Jean, whatever. but worse. But because she's Geo and she works really well on a Geo team / shield team, I will still put her C tier. She heals, which is nice. Heals aren't the greatest. Her constellation doesn't give her that much actually. She's a good tank, the shield's pretty good, her ultimate's good, I like her kit, but she can't decide between being a main DPS and a healer, and that just hinders the team too, so same boat as Bennett, C tier. Paimon, emergency food, haha funny, please like the video. Chi-Chi, great healer, not so great at applying ice or cryo element. But purely healing wise, she's definitely S tier, right? Her healing is insane, especially if you have her Ascension 4 and she just applies her talismans on normal attack. Her attack multiplier on her normal attacks is sort of low, sadly, but other than that, like, her healing is so great that she's still gonna be S tier. Like, that's not gonna change. Carries co-op, she's pretty much the only one I use in co-op nowadays because people just need help. So I use her, she's fine. Not a lot of people have her. From what it seems, like, she hasn't had a raid up, so it makes sense. And you didn't really reroll for her, you rerolled for Kaching or the Luke move for the most part. But yeah, fantastic, definitely the best healer in the game. Moving on, Razer, more damage in more DPS than Beidou, but less utility than Beidou because of the counter, the damage reduction and stuff. That she's definitely better off, but he does more damage, so still works out as the same tier. Just absolute powerhouse, great main DPS. Lacks a little bit of utility. If he had utility, like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, if his ult, yeah. If he could give his ultimate to other people, S tier. But he can't, so A tier, still does great damage, fantastic character. I like how free electric characters are here. Alright, next one, Sucrose, great passive, great burst, great ultimate. Still very underrated. My waifu, personally, but I don't know if I want to rank her between C and B tier. It's one of the two, definitely. I don't think she's as good as like Chongyun, especially when it comes to like on Max Constellation. She actually rivals Chongyun, but without it, not so much. So I'll let her stay in C tier, but she's still great. Every character in here is great. Okay, you can use any character and beat everything. Okay, but you know, some characters just make it easier for you, and those are the ones at the top. Venti is still an S tier, it will never change. People underestimated Venti so much. People underrate Venti still because he's not a main DPS, he's a support DPS. But I know for a fact that people underrate Venti are still happy when a Venti shows up in their co-op because they know, oh, okay, it's going to be easy. They're going to be CC the entire time, take a lot of damage, you know, all be in one place. Like, Venti's just built different, alright? Zhongli, really good. Now this one depends. With one dupe, she's a great support, right? So I'll put her like C tier, doesn't do much else. With 4 or 3, the one where her like a last attack has the extra effect, she is a powerhouse. Maybe not S tier, but she is really good. And because of the flexibility of just having 1 dupe or 4 dupes, which I think is reasonable, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have at least 1 dupe in her. I'll put her A tier. If you think that's too high, B tier is fine for me too. It's between A and B tier. Actually, I'll put her B tier so people don't complain. Now, Zhao is going to be the best character in the game, but he's not out yet, so I can't talk about him. Jinkyu, really, really good. So underrated for whatever reason. He heals, he gives you damage reduction, he gives a lot of damage to your party members. His skill is insane, like just really short, quick burst damage. But not a lot of people build him. I might have to make a video on him, but yeah, he's great. If you have him, go definitely like actually read up on his abilities. They're really, really good. Like I said, the damage reduction, the water blades and everything, really, really good. The healing, just fantastic unit. Like honestly, he's really, really good. So I want to put him A tier, and I will put him A tier. Yeah. Now Child is S tier. He is the best DPS in the game. Especially when his Hydra set comes out, he will 100% just like outshine everyone. Although when that comes out, Jiao might also be out, and then he will kind of outshine him. You know, Dainsleaf might be out too. Albedo, I think is the name. She might be out too. No, her name is something else. That's Albedo. No, that's Xinyan. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Child, really, really good DPS. His kit works so well with what he wants to do. Fantastic unit. Okay, next up, Deona. I love her shield, really creative unit, really fun unit to use. She cannot be your main healer. She's not a discount Chi-Chi, as a lot of people call her. She fulfills a different role, but she's really good with like Razer, for example, because you can just keep applying superconduct. You lower his stamina cost, so you can cancel your attacks more often. You can dodge more stuff. And then every now and then she has her ultimate that heals everyone. So really good character. I think she's fantastic. I think her kit will always just age well as well because it's percentage stamina. So yeah, great character, love her, fantastic support. Next up is Jin Yan. Now Jin Yan is S tier, okay? If you don't know what Jin Yan does is, for the most part, right, ignore what she does. Like, she can be a main DPS if you have her first constellation, or second even. Like, first two constellations will actually make her a fantastic main DPS, but as a support, she's also great because one, the person she gives the shield to gets 15% increased physical damage, right? Let's say I put on Razer, my guy's doing 15% increased physical damage. Or let's say even Diluc, right? So that 15% extra physical damage. Second thing is the shield. It's just great. You know, you take less damage. You're pretty much immune to pyro damage as well, which is really good, right? And then what it also does, it applies pyro to every enemy nearby. Like, it does damage. If you've played League of Legends, sort of like the old Sunfire game, okay, where you just do damage everything nearby, fire damage, right? So you apply fire damage to everyone nearby. I've said it like 4 times now, but yeah, you do that, and then in addition to that, you can switch characters and give them the shield, and then hey, you give that to Razer. Every enemy is gonna have fire around them, so his lightning strikes are all going to do overload on every hit, and it's gonna last a while, right, until it runs out. And then in addition to that, he also has increased physical damage. So yeah, it's kind of insane, okay? Yeah. And then, like I said, if you have a constellation, she increases her own attack speed, she increases her own crit rate and damage. So yeah, really good character. Amazing character. Definitely an S tier character, okay? And now, the last but not least, we're at the 17-minute mark. I tried my best. Alright, I think we did well though. 17 minutes sounds fine. Zhongli, definitely S tier. He's not the best main DPS. He's really good though. His skill only having a 4-second cooldown is really good because that means you can just get perma earthquakes going. I was worried about like not being able to build him because he wants HP, he wants geo damage, he wants crit, he wants attack, he wants a glad set, he wants a geo set. But in the end, I think the glad set is fine if you have one equipment with geo damage on it, but the geo damage set is also really good on him. But I might just make a separate video on that. But yeah, really good. His constructs having a 4-second cooldown is really good. The fact you can pop it is really good. Perma shield up, so in the geo team, really good. His ultimate petrify, super useful, amazing for Spiral Abyss, great character. Not the best though, but he's really good though. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm sorry it took a little longer than I wanted it to be, but look at the amount of characters, man. I can't just skip over them, right? But anyway, that's gonna be it from me. That's gonna be it from the tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, ciao.